Okay, let me open up with this introduction of the floor pans. The floor pans was the first thing I was going to work on. So here I am loading up my duster onto my cousin's trailer to take it out to his house, to his barn, to work on it. There it is at the barn. And look at those floor pans. Terrible. Documenting by taking pictures. So then I removed the seat belts. Found a couple shotgun shells. Me and my friends like to go out shooting. And then remove the front speakers that I had put on and the front kick plates, or whatever they're called, up there. I kind of took some measurements just to see. Remove the armrest in the back seat area. I removed the back seat, and underneath the seat was a copy of the paper. A copy of the paper of specs. And that cardboard was removed. Then I started cutting out the floorboard on the driver's side. Look at it, it's bad. Then I decided to take it outside to get ready to sandblast it. Removed the doors and fenders. Rented a sandblaster and sandblasted some of the inner fender wells, the frame inside. Then I had sprayed and coated it for rust. But it was just not working having my car out at my cousin's barn. So I brought it back home. By this time I had closed the carport and I moved it in there. I thought I would work on it in the carport, but it didn't have a cement floor yet, and that was just not going to work, so I moved it into my garage. Well, here I am. The start of putting this floor pan in right here. So I think first thing I want to show you up front here, I believe this is where the firewall and the floor pan comes together, and they both have a lip that they're probably spot welded together. So maybe kind of hard to see, but you see this little strip of metal. I believe that's the firewall right here coming down, and there's a lip, and then my floor pan came up, and I believe there's a lip that went down, and those two merged together, were probably spot welded together. So this piece of metal right here, I was getting ready to cut it across and then weld new metal in. I really didn't know if it came all the way this way, but after closer inspection you can see a straight edge right here. Really, it looks like it ends here. So I took a look over at the passenger side, and the passenger side, yes, shows it square off right there. So I say that's where it ends. So I measured up so far, made a line, and I cut straight across there. Then I took my air hammer and started going underneath, and I got it off. So I'll paint all this with a primer. Clean this out inside here with the vacuum, and yeah, I'll cut another piece of metal now to fit back on top here. I guess that's next. It's reading as a 14 gauge. You know, I thought it looked thicker than 16. Can't get in 15. 14 it goes in. So here's my 16 gauge steel. 17. So this is 16 gauge steel, which that's all the thicker I got, so I think that's what I'm going to use. Alright, there we go. Got that piece in. But first I'm going to take care of this now. And maybe try to sand that down so that can get primed at the same time. Okay, I just about got this area ready for some primer. See, I got that slit filled. I cut that off, and I also found out, you know, when I sanded here, this metal was so shiny. It's like, but it's because there's paint. This part was painted. I don't know if the whole thing was painted down to here, but it's very possible. So I was looking at how the floor pan butts up to the firewall. So I'm going to use cardboard to show what I was thinking, how the floor pan welded up to the firewall. So first, the floor pan has a lip. The firewall has a lip when I looked at it one time, so I thought, oh, the two lips must spot weld together like that. But that's not true. And then I thought, it looks like the floor pan will just spot weld up like this. And that's partly true. Except for, when I show you here, the firewall actually has a teeny little lip like this. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing, is the floor pan will sit on that lip and then butt up against, like so, and weld together. So that's what I'm thinking. There it is. There's what's left of my firewall. But this little lip, that is part of the firewall. So I must have already removed the floor pan from it. Right here. So that's where I'm thinking the floor pan must be sitting on top of that. Yep, I can fill a lip on this piece, and this is still the firewall right here. So right here, that is my firewall, and you can see there's that lip right there. So, ooh, that firewall is not going to be fun, I don't think. But I first got to get the two floorboard panels in. Then I'll probably go to the trunk. should have my gloves on. Alright, well I got done what I wanted to because that was just kind of getting rusty again. The bare metal was showing. I guess the first step would be to set it in here and start fitting it. I guess I'm trying to think, how do I know that I don't have it sitting like this, you know, too low over here? So I guess I would figure a level, put a level on it. So I'm kind of glad I'm only doing half at a time. So now I can come over here and check this out. But I have been sitting in it, but it seems pretty sturdy. Now I have this rear seat area welded in. And then of course the cross member is holding this whole hump up. Because I wanted to have this piece the same height as this. So I got myself a level here, and I thought, well, let's check it out, see what's going on. So I'll put it over here, and the bubble's over this way. So right there, it looks like 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8, tilted down that way. So let's check this side. About the same spot. And what we got here? Well, now I'm going, yep, okay, so it's tilted down this way. Oh, but maybe like 3/4 of an inch or something. From looking at it by sight, it looks like this is up higher than this one. So what I'll do is I'll measure from the floor up to my ceiling of the car here. Let's see what we get there. I'm going to have to measure in the same spot. This one has a plate right there. So I might measure right over that, right next to that line. Let's go up 43.5 maybe. So let's see what we got here. Ooh, 42. Wow. Oh, wait. How'd I do that? Now I'm about 42 and must have been reading that wrong. 42.25. 42.1/8 possibly. It's kind of hard when you're on a curve there, you know, like this. Trying to read that on a curve. The other thing is I want to look up here to see if I'm up far enough. Plus look right here. This lip isn't down. It's being held up. So I'm going to have to get that down. So here I am underneath. See, look at that. I got a gap there compared to like this side. See, it's butted up flat. This is the old, so it's really butted up good. And I got a gap. And, you know, it's going to take some pushing. Got to get that together. Well, let's look over here. Okay, here's a brace. Look at that, it's up off there. Let's look at the other side. Oh yeah, it's a touching. So I can push that up, and that gets me up there. So this may have gotten bent down just from me working around it. Let's look up front here. I need light. So here's my new one. This is the cross member. It's not touching. And the old one, well, it's not touching there, but the rest of it is gone. And I'm pretty sure it was spot welded down to it. So this should be down, maybe most of it. Okay, here's the front. Get settled. This is the cross member. We're going towards the front. This was the brake cable. Emergency brake cable came through, and that's the way I seen it in my old video. It laid. So that floorboard's not down against there. So I've got some fitting to do, some measuring and fitting and remeasuring, and I just got to make sure I got both of these floorboards at least the same height. Plus, right here was this brace right here. It welded on there like that, somewhere in here. It might be right where this other ridge is. And I think this was for this side, the passenger side. And I think the driver's side probably had one, but I have not found it. So this brings me to another topic that I want to talk to you about. And that is I put it here. That I've kept all the pieces that I've cut out of my duster. I've kept them. But see, that would help me. See, there's a plug, but I'll get new plugs. Aha, there it is. That was one piece I wanted. It's got to be the driver's side floorboard here. I'm seeing no signs of that brace. And it could be that it was totally rusted away. So that's the bracket I was needing for the driver's side. That's good that I still have it. That's why if I would have thrown this stuff away right away, I maybe wasn't even thinking about that bracket, and I would have pitched it. Then I would have had to either fabricate it, or, and I don't know if you can buy a new one or not. So you just don't know what you might be throwing away. I'm keeping it when I got this thing done, and then I'll be throwing all that junk away because it is just rusted junk. But that one bracket, I'm just going to have to fabricate two of those. That's what I'm thinking. I'll go look at other pictures of dusters. I have one, a guy has it on a rotisserie, and I'm going to look to see, and I'll show you that if that bracket is up there. On the driver's side. It is on the driver's side. I gotta find a good way to measure from here to there. I just don't like doing the tape measure. I just don't like doing the tape measure like this. It's kind of the same way what I was just doing though. You know? Now try to read that on the curve to get a really accurate reading. You know, 42 and half inch, 42 3/8. Alright, something else I want to look at. This is my floor pan. This is the pan that I just welded in. Looks like I got some welding there to do. Wow. But this lip right here, see, it's there's a little dimple there, and I figure this pan, the dimple is on this pan. I figure it must come right up to the edge of this, or at least it's got to be on that way. So you don't want this pan to be sitting on top of this lip, you know. So I may have to go this way some, just by a little bit. There's a plug. I'm hoping that plug can be put in this way, and it doesn't come from above and in. I hope you stick it in this way. Same with that hole. Because if it comes in from the other way, then I better get those in before I weld this piece in. Which means I gotta go and order some. Well, I was drilling my new hole there because for some reason, for some reason that's the hole the manufacturer made, but my seatbelt hole is right here. I did some measuring. You can see I was off. There's a couple small holes there. And then I had another small hole, and then I moved over and got this one, and then I made it bigger. So I've got to go bigger yet. I drilled it with a small bit, then I used my step bit to get it bigger, but I've got to go get a bigger step bit than this to make that hole. I want to have it bigger like this one, so I have some wiggle room to go either way for adjusting this in place. Hey everyone, I'm measuring from my floorboard to my ceiling in here in my car, and I'm getting different measurements, and like I was doing with the tape measure and it curves, you can't get an accurate measurement, so I thought I'd get myself a electronic device. Now this is called Tack Life, and it reads to the 16th of an inch. Plus or minus, so it could be off maybe a 16th, but that's going to be really close. So I'm going to pick spots down here, and I'm going to take a measurement. Like let's say right here on the corner, the laser points up, and it's telling me 40 and 13/16. So the only problem is I'm hitting right on the curve. Of my headliner. So I really like this thing. It's really cool. I don't know if you can see it. The light's probably glare. I don't know how close I can get. There, it just took a measurement. I pushed from wherever I'm holding it to the ceiling of my garage. So it's kind of cool. So you can set it to measure from the bottom here, or you can set it to measure from the top. Now I picked the bottom so I could set it flat on my floorboard and shoot upward. For my seatbelt mount, the other hole, I'll probably patch that up and put a piece of metal behind and tack weld it in there to cover it up. So that's where I'm at right now, trying to figure out where I got it. I'm trying to figure out if I got it sitting in the good spot or not. And then once I do that, I don't know if this got bent. It might have just got bent a little bit. Oh, look at this. You see this little dimple? I just noticed that. Boy, it looks like it fit right in there, like the hump. Here's some more. Oh yes, here's a half a circle. Let me go to the other side. So yeah, I never noticed this until just now. You can see this circle right here. There's a circle. And then you can kind of see it right here. Right there. So this is perfect. If I can match, that looks like it could be matching up really good right there. So I got it fitted in. This part looks good. You know, I'm kind of even there. I'm tucked up in there. I put a screw through. You know, everything's looking good. But then I went underneath. I went underneath, and yeah, you know, you can push this down a little bit, but look at the gap there. It shouldn't be that way. Look at the old one. It's right up against. That's the way this one should be. So, but that means this has to come down some. Here's a seatbelt mount. Here's where my other seatbelt mount went too. But I've got to find that because it was either really rusted there and just came right on off. I don't know. I got to find it. I got it somewhere. Next time I come out, I guess I'll fit it. It's close. It's close right now. But I guess I'll just check to make sure everything is in place and then tack weld it. But it's hot out here now. It's getting warm. It's going to be a hot weekend. Alright. Wrap it up right now. Sorry that it's taken me so long to get videos out here. I've got a lot going on. And it is something that when you don't know how to do it, I do take my time and making sure I do it right the first time. I hate to redo things over. Never put floor pans in. Want to make sure that they're in right. So, but thank you for having patience with me and waiting. And sorry about it being in parts, but I don't like putting out long videos. Thank you. Got some work to do.